Going on YouTube, Cloverbells here, back with another Scarlet Violet video, and today we're kicking off our regulationG content on the channel, or should I say re-kicking it off, because this is the second go around for regulationG from January, and then for 4 months, this is what we're going to be playing, as you guys already know, as it was announced in August. So we'll have to see what happens after regulationG. Maybe we'll get dual restricted, who knows, but for the meantime, it's back to single restricteds. And on the community post, I did ask, for our subs, like if you wanted to see a team building session on a certain restricted, what would you pick, right? And they picked Calyrex Ice Rider. That's the final result. So here we are. We're gonna be team building around Calyrex Ice Rider today, and then afterwards we'll do some of the other restricteds as well. But Calyrex, whew, it's back. Okay, so get your ice horse ready. But yeah, very strong restricted to start with. Okay, look at that attack, 165 base. All right, base defense 150, HP 100, speed F 130. Guys, the power creep is back. Okay, so get your Incineroars ready, right? But Calyrex has tools for Incineroar, as we already know. But Glacial Lance, of course, very busted ability. I should say move. Because again, you get spread damage, you're hitting for base 120 damage. Very, very strong move. And then after this, it is a Trick Room Setter. So you have an aggressive Trick Room Setter that can actually deal out damage. Prior you had like bulky Trick Room Setters that just didn't really put out damage. Something like a Porygon, even though it can do damage a little bit, but not like Calyrex, right? So this is what we're dealing with in regulationG. And then you can just slap on the Clear Amulet over here. To deter the intimidation from Incineroar. This is what we were doing prior to the format ending back in the summer, right? This is what Calyrex sets we're using. And then you can just slap on Protect here. And then if you need to hit the Steel types and the Fire types, right? Like an Incineroar, for example. This is where you have high horsepower, okay? And if you just pick up 1 KO, this thing just starts sweeping, okay? And that's very, very dangerous if you could just pick up 1 KO. So this is where teams would maybe want to pivot and switch out their Pokemon when they're so low on health, because they don't want the Calyrex to pick up that 1 KO that it needs to be able to, steamroll. And this is why Incineroar is so valuable, because you have to, intimidate, cycle it, but you can't do it originally because of this Clear Amulet. This is why you need to knock this off first, and then you can parting shot it and then go for positional play. Okay, I'm going to show you a couple builds that you can do with Calyrex, some easy standard stuff to get the ball rolling for the format, just so that you have something strong to start out with. But after this, I'll also just go through like a rundown of regulationG in general. I want to put out that kind of video as well, just like things to expect and some common pairings, common combinations that were relevant in regulationG prior in the first variant, right? And then it'll probably still be the case, within this first month of the format too. Okay, but just start here, right? Incineroar and Amoongus, good old classic defensive VGC backbone. This has never changed. Okay, I can't remember the last time where these two weren't so good together. Okay, think about it. You have Intimidate, you have Fake Out Pressure, and you have Redirection, and you need all that space to be able to set up this trick, right? And then the Amoongus just thrives in Trick Room because you can click the Spore button, of course. Right now, the Spore is a little bit more trickier this time around because you have to deal with Miraidon and the electric terrain. So you have to be aware of that. But again, you still have 3 other moves to click. Okay, and even though in the beginning of regulationG, Amoongus was very, very seldomly used, I would say. I shouldn't say that. It just wasn't as common as it was like, top 6. But then as the format progressed, then as Amoongus shot back up, and it cracked the top 12 yet again because Amoongus is so good. All right. And you can't Spore the Ogerpon, so that's also like a reason why it declined a little bit more. But listen, Spore is still broken, Redirection is still broken, Healing is still broken. Okay, and then after this, then you can go with something like Clear Smog and then just start removing buffs too. Like Calm Mind Calyrex is a thing. The Photosynthesis boost, that's a thing. The coaching boost, that's a thing. And you might say, where's the coaching coming from? We're going to have it ourselves, okay? It's going to come from Urshifu. Remember this thing? Yeah, remember the discourse that we had, for a hot minute between Sneasler versus Urshifu? That ends today because now All right, Urshifu is back here with coaching, and this was usually like a choice scarf set. There were a lot of items that you could use on the Urshifu. You could use a sash, you could use the Mystic Water, okay? Seldomly use the band, right? But both Urshifu, the water and the dark one, were used. And for a while, it was always the water one being used in Regulation G. And then afterwards, the dark one started creeping back up. And then the water took back over a little bit. But they're both good, okay? And coaching into Calyrex is very strong because, you know, we always say, like, if you just get that one boost, that one KO to get that attack boost going, you could sweep. Well, maybe you don't necessarily need to rely on that because now the Urshifu can coach you, all right? And then you get that boost anyway, and then you can help, and then it helps you steamroll, right? So you have to consider that. And then, of course, listen, Surging Strikes is busted, right? We already know this. You go through Protect. You don't care about screens or Intimidate stuff. It's 3 hits, so you can break through Sash. So really good against something like a Chenpao, for that matter. This is where they might invest a little bit of EVs to just try and resist the Surging Strikes, just so that they can live. But yeah, this is it. Then you've got Close Combat, of course. Very hard-hitting Close Combat. Listen, 130 attack is very, very good. And then finally, you could just do something like this with U-Turn. Just re-pivot out just in case it's not a great position. And then easily just go Terra Ghost here just to avoid the fake out, you know, because you don't have Protect when you're using the Scarf here. But this is the idea. Fire, Water, Grass, okay? Keep it easy, keep it standard. And, you know, Urshifu it's so broken. Like, you can just slap on into this any team, and it just makes your team, like, quote-unquote better, right? And then, of course, we just mentioned the coaching combinations that you could do with the Calyrex, okay? So start with this core. Then after this is another thing you could do. Pelipper was really good in Regulation G. This bird was taking over, right, for a lot of the format, and for good reason. Why? Because it's not because you have tail, and it's not because you're enabling, you know, Kyogres and whatnot, or Arkeladons on those Kyogre teams either. It's because it gets Wide Guard here. So now in Regulation G, Wide Guard is a very strong support move, okay? Because there's so many restricteds and Pokemon in general that just have spread damage, and Wide Guard is very useful against that, okay? Think about Flutter Mane, Dazzling Gleams, Icy Winds, you know, Chi-Yu Snarls and Heat Waves, Water Spout, okay, Origin Pulse, Astro Barrage, Glacial Lance. You see what I'm getting at here? So Wide Guard Pelipper was really good throughout most of Regulation G, and the bird comes here. And just in general, the bird can do 2 things, right? First of all, it makes your Urshifu hit harder. So you know, you don't have the band, so you need the weather to help Urshifu do a little bit more damage, as if it needed to do more damage, right? But yeah, it'll make your Urshifu do more damage, and then it'll also take away a fire weakness from the Calyrex, right? Because again, you aren't ice type, so you are weak to fire. So if you can take that away with the rain, that helps a lot, right? So we'll have the Pelipper here come in and support with Wide Guard. We're not going to be using Tailwind on this team, so we still just go with Weather Ball and Hurricane. And then the slap can just easily be Protect. You can just slap on the Focus Sash here, and that's really all you need from this Pelipper here. The Incineroar, oh yeah, we forgot to do the Incineroar set, like Jesus. All right, so you can just do Fake Out, Knock Off, and Parting Shot. Now, in this type of format, Flare Blitz wasn't used as much, okay? And that's how Regulation H kind of started, right? Where people just weren't really using Flare Blitz on the Incin. That changes a little bit more in Regulation G. I think you now don't necessarily need the Flare Blitz as much. You can go with Taunt here. And I think Taunt is a great move because you can stop other Trick Room setters. You can stop other setup potentially and just deny Protects, right? Which means Calyrex can safely go through with the Glacial Lance here. And then you can do still standard stuff. You can do stuff like Safety Goggles. Now, again, the berries are a little bit sus this format because of the ability that you're getting with the Calyrex, right? So you just have to be aware of that, okay? Because, yeah. So that being said, you could easily just go Safety Goggles here. But you can also technically go with, like, Rocky Helmet here. And that was a tech that picked up late in Regulation G also because, again, think about the Surging Strikes coming from Urshifu. You can just chip them down a lot. Chenpao trying to go for Sacred Swords. You can chip them and break the Sash and just KO them right back, right? So there was a lot of value out of Rocky Helmet on the Incin later in Regulation G. But yeah, after this, then you just go with Raging Bolt. Remember this? Raging Bolt. Yeah, he's back again. Oh, I love this thing. This thing is like, it hits hard. It's pretty bulky, right? And, you know, it can thrive both in Tailwind and Trick Room teams, right? Base 75 here. And you get priority, which is really good. So, you know, welcome back Raging Bolt, all right? And Thunderclap, right? A priority move. You know, you can just pick up a lot of Kyogres this way. You can pick up, well, not necessarily pick up, but you can, you know, put pressure on the Chien-Paos, the Flutter Manes. But, you know, all in all, it's a signature move that it has. And then you can just do like Thunderbolt here. Then you can do Dragon Pulse or Draco Meteor, depending on you. It's how you want to play it. It's just like the Arkeladon argument. Do you go Pulse? Do you go Draco Meteor? It's up in the air. Then you can just go Booster here. And the idea is that we're going to make this super slow because we want this to thrive in the Trick Room idea. All right. In terms of Terra, I think I like Fairy here. Again, just to be able to remove the Ice weakness and to be able to remove your Dragon weakness, you know, against the Draco Meteors that would be coming out from an opposing Raging Bolt, for example. But yeah, this is it. This is the sets. We'll just, oh yeah, we just do the Amoongus here. So Mental Herb, you don't want to get taunted, and maybe something like, again, also Terra Fairy, just you know, redirecting all those dragon moves away and remove your weaknesses to Psychic, to Fire, to Ice. Fairy is a very good defensive Terra in Regulation G, I would say. Yeah, the Instant, you can just go like Water if you want to resist the Urshifu Surging Strikes. You can still go Ghost if you want to resist the fighting. But again, it's not as prevalent, you know, for the Ghost on the Instant, but it is important still. You know, if you want to get with the close combat from the Urshifu. But other than that, you know, Water is always going to be a good Terra. It's always been a good solid defensive Terra against water attacks. Like, again, another Pelipper trying to click Weather Ball into you, so you can just go with that. And then the Calyrex, I like Grass here for a lot of reasons. Okay, Miraidon's a thing, and the Kyogre's a thing. You can just resist all of that. But more importantly, in Trick Room, you don't get spored by another Amoongus, so that's important too. But yeah, and again, Grass is still good here in the rain because just like Ice, you're weak to Fire, but you can mitigate that by using the Pelipper Weather Control on your side. But yeah, this is it. This is the, oh, not Effect Squad. Let's go with Regenerator. This is like variant one. I'm going to show you another team with this, but this is always going to be easy and standard and consistent to start with, right? So Instant Calyrex Amoongus, you know, your standard Trick Room core, and then Urshifu, Pelipper come in and, you know, round out your Fire, Water, Grass core, get some special attack damage in, get Wide Guard on your team, get Weather Control, and then Raging Bolt, you know, just to have like a special attack presence on your team. Sometimes you'll even see something like Flutter Mane over here. You might even see Chien-Pao, right? So you could even have Chien-Pao here, which makes Urshifu do more damage, makes Calyrex do more damage technically as well. So this last slot is very flexible, but Raging Bolt is just an easy choice to have here for a lot of different reasons. And then you can even bring this into the Sun matchups, right? Into Koraidon, because you can take advantage of photosynthesis too, right? If once you burn your booster energy, so, you know, just think of it like that. But this is variant number one. And then we can just, you know, do some EV spreads here. But yeah, and this is where like I start talking about a little bit more about the sets that you'll see in Regulation G2 with some of our spreads. All right, so let's go and let's start here with the Calyrex. Okay, so now with the Calyrex Ice Rider, there's a few ways to approach the EV spread here. So you could just be one of those ones where you just say, you know what, I just want to hit hard and just be super bulky. So I'm just going to go 252, 252 Brave and just call it a day. And you know what, there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, if you want to go like this and just drive under Trick Room, you know, 0 investment in speed, that's it. That's okay. But of course, come on, you're on the Clover Bells channel. We're not going to do the 252 spreads. That's too easy. All right, we're not doing that. Okay, let me show you some other tricks that you can do with Calyrex that in the beginning, not too many people are going to be doing, but still some will do. Okay, so I like to put some bulk on this thing, believe it or not. You might say, well, what bulk? This thing has 100 HP, 150 defense, and 130 speed up. How much more bulk do you need, Clover? You actually need quite a bit, and I'll tell you why. Because the Shadow Rider has Astral Barrage, and sometimes they have Life Orb. So I just want to go 116 here. Okay, 220 attack is already like pretty good. I have Coaching from Urshifu. I have a lot of things to chip, things to put this thing in range for the Glacial Land. So I'm okay with just going Adamant 116 here. All right, there's nothing wrong with this. After that, I just want to max my HP, 252. okay? So now I have 136 EVs left to play with. So why does that matter? So if I line this up, wait, oops. Those are some of the sample battles I was going to show you. So if I line this up with Calyrex Astro Barrage over here, all right? So right away, 252 is already enough to survive a regular Astro Barrage from a Calyrex. Like if it has no modifiers, no Calm Mind setup, no specs, okay, no life orb, nothing, all right? So you live that naturally, which is great. But if it does have a life orb, all right, this is where you still need some investment here. All right, so life orb Calyrex, now it has a 42% chance to KO. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put some SPDF points in here just to try and live this. And let's see how much we need. All right, so we're getting close here. All right, and I believe it's this much, right? So 108 SPDF is what I'm going for. So I'll take that. You know, that's really good. So we'll just line it up like this, 108. All right, and then after that, let's put an even number in defense here just to like capitalize off of the +1 from the coaching boost. And then a little bit of speed, 20 speed. So we're adamant nature, so this way we can have some speed and try and outspeed the mirror matchup a little bit. So some speed on this Calyrex is okay, all right? And this is how I want to play it, all right? I want some bulk on this thing, all right? I want to live a Life Orb Shadow Rider, all right? And after that, just take advantage of the boost that you're getting from coaching, and we're good, we're chilling, all right? I don't need 252 attack, you know, because sometimes that's overkill, but sometimes you do need it. But on this team, I think I'm okay with the bulk investment here. All right, Incineroar. So now let me show you another type of calc here with the Incin. So we're going to go a defensive nature. We're going to go Impish, okay? And I'll tell you why in a second. Let's match up Urshifu with the Incineroar. So let's put Incin here, okay? This is another one of those calcs here. All right, let's go blank, just so I can show you from scratch. Let's show Urshifu here, and let's just pick a standard one here, right? Blank set. So Urshifu with 252. All right, let's go Jolly. Not that matters here, but let's go Surging Strikes, and let me show you Close Combat too, okay? All right, so look at this. Absolutely destroys Incineroar without any investment, of course, right? But now we're going to go Impish, okay? Defensive nature, and now this damage is dropped a little bit, but that, you know, we still need a little bit more to work with here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put, let's try max HP here. Let's see what this can do. All right, and then we'll start investing into our calcs. So look at this. So now we actually have some chances here to survive, right? So let's go to a bump here. All right, let's go. You can either go 76, you can go 156. All right, let's see the second bump there. Let's see if this is enough to survive it. And again, if you don't know what EV bumps are, make sure you comment in the video below. You know, comment asking, you know, what are EV bumps, because it's a very fundamental skill to understanding creating EV spreads. Right, and I did the same thing here with Calyrex, right? Adamant 116 is the second bump there, and I'm gonna do the same thing with Incineroar here. I'm gonna try, okay? But if you don't know what bumps are, comment below, and then I will respond to you, okay? But essentially what it is once you move this slider in Pokemon Showdown, there's gonna be 3 distinct points here where the stat increases by 2 points rather than 1, okay? And it's only true in the natured stat, all right? So that's where you find the bumps, and again, there's 3 of them. So I made a whole video on this back in the summer, so you can go ahead and check that out if you want. But otherwise, comment asking what are EV bumps, and I will respond to you. All right, but let's start here with 252, 156. Let's see if this is enough. All right, not bad, getting there. So now let me just keep adding some points here. All right, until I can guarantee live. All right, so I guarantee live the Surging Strikes, right? So I want to, and I almost lived the Close Combat. Let's keep going a little bit. There it is. All right, so 252, 180 is enough to try and live this. So right here, we're gonna go 252, 180. Perfect, right? One point in the attack, that's really all I need. And then after this, you know, I can have about 12 points here in SPDF and then just put the rest into something like this in speed, right? That's okay. That's all I need out of this Incineroar, all right? And that's it. You know, it's some speed for the mirror matchup. Like sometimes I want to have and see if I have the faster fake out, especially on the Incin mirror. So, you know, my knockoff goes first, right? So that's important sometimes. But yeah, again, essentially what I'm doing is I'm trying to live the key attacks from the Urshifu. Now, again, this is a non-Mystic Water, non-Terra Water, no modifiers Urshifu, just straight Sash or Scarf Urshifu Surging Strikes. So just be aware of that, all things considered. So if they have an attack modifier, then you're probably, it's going to be a roll. But just at least try and have the Sash survival, you know, in terms of surviving the Urshifu, right? But anyway, Amoongus here, I just keep this thing standard, right? So let's just go Sassy Nature, 0 speed investment. All right, you know, Miraidon's a thing. and just go 252, 156, right? Here's the bump, and then just dump the rest here in defense, and that's it. I just need a bulky mushroom. Urshifu, we have a scarf, same thing. I'm just gonna go adamant here, all right? Just try and hit hard, try and hit fast, and then that's it. This is also why some Pokemon, when they do their EV spreads, they try to go past the 149 mark, try to go like 150 to outspeed the adamant Urshifu. That's one of those speed tiers. And again, we're gonna put out that video too, you know, going over speed tiers in Regulation G. So this way you have some numbers to keep in mind when you're looking for the interaction. Pelipper's a Sash. This one you can also just go 252, 252 here. All right, Modest Nature. Oh, one thing I forgot to do on the Pelipper was the Terra. So another Terra that was also like popular late in Regulation G was Terra Normal. Why? Because the Calyrex Shadow Rider can't hit this thing, all right, with Astro Barrage. So Terra Normal was another common rising Terra. This is why like Blood Moon Ursaluna was really good, as well as the other Ursaluna too, because they're normal types, right? And they don't get hit with Astro Barrage. This is also why Farigiraf was really good too, because you don't take Astro Barrage damage. And Indeedee, same thing, right? So the normal Terra was very useful on the Pelipper. All right, Raging Bolt here. So this one, I always like to do a couple calcs here. If I have the Assault Vest, I'll try to live Earth Power as well, but I don't have the, you know, from a Blood Moon, but I don't have it here. So what I want to try and do is live the ice attacks from a Chien-Pao / a Calyrex Ice Rider. So how do we do that? So basically what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go Modest Nature here, and let's try and hit the bumps here. So the first one is right here at 20, but that's like not a lot. I want this thing to do a little bit more damage than this, right? So you can go to the second one, which is every 80 EVs, right? And go right here to 100, right? 20 plus 80 is 100. Or you can go to the third one and go 180. All right. And you know what? Anytime there's a new format, what I like to do is I try to put a little bit more in damage first and then bulk, just to kind of get a feel for, you know, the rest of the format. So since we're still picking up where we left off back in the summer, so I kind of know some of this stuff already, but I still want to deal some good damage on my Raging Bolt. So I want to just put 180 attack here, and then just put 1 point in the speed and the special defense, right? Because I want more physical defense to try and live those ice attacks from the Chien-Pao / the Calyrex here. So how much am I going to redistribute these 320 points here, right? So let's go ahead and let's go here to Raging Bolt. Let's just put a blank set here so you could see. All right, and let's go into the Chien-Pao first. Okay, let's see. All right, let's go standard Chien-Pao here. Let's put Icicle Crash here, right? Because that was also like a thing that they had. Either it was Ice Spinner or Crash. You see how it just absolutely annihilates me, but that's okay. So what I want to do here is I want to take into account Rillaboom Grassy Terrain. So Rillaboom is still like pretty good in Regulation G because you get to remove Miraidon's terrain as well. So let's go 224. So I can go 208, right? That's the first optimization number because, you know, again, a factor of 16 gets you optimal leftovers recovery. Let's go to 224. Let's add another 16 there. Let's put some bulk on this thing, right? So 224, right? If you just do some quick math with your calculator, as I will show you, divided by 16 is going to be 14 recovery per turn flat, right? If you do 225, it's a decimal. It'll round down, so that's no good. If it's 223, even worse. Now you only get 13 recovery because this is like 13.9375. So that's bad. Let's go to 224. Now, is this enough? 188, 132 investment. Let's see. So let me go here and let me put 188. All right, and let's put 132. Is this in fact enough? And it is. That's good. I survived not only the Ice Spinner, but I also survived, or at least a 6.3% chance roll for the Crash. If you want to guarantee this, I believe 140 is all you need, so one more point there if you want to do that. But I'm very much content with the 132 because that's all I have left, right? So you can do it like this, and that's it. That's my Raging Bolt set. You can also consider the Calyrex, right? Again, the spread move. I think this still like kind of smashes it. Oh no, we actually lived the Glacial Lance. So that's good. No, if we go Adamant, I think then it just kills it. Yeah, see, 6.3. Oh, good. What a coincidence. Not really. Right, I planned this. So you live the Glacial Lance and you live the Chien-Pao Icicle Crash, man. The Clover EV spreads. Like I said. All right, so this is it. We're going to start off with this, okay? And we're going to just quickly test it. You saw we had a couple of games prepped for you. And then I'll show you variant number 2 to try and use something like this. But this is like pretty solid and standard for the beginnings of Regulation G. All right, so let's hop into some games and let's show you how the team functions. Okay, so we're matched up with Kyogre first here. So again, the Prankster Thundurus here. So remember, Thundurus is back too, right? So this is probably gonna have like Prankster Rain Dance, Prankster Eerie Impulse, Thunder Wave, and he's got Serena here. Now, why Serena? He's trying to deny priority moves against the Kyogre. So Rillaboom, Grassy Glide, Raging Bolt, Thunderclap. He's gonna probably want to bring that against us because we have the Raging Bolt, and we're definitely gonna bring the Raging Bolt into the Kyogre, right? So he has that. Then he has Instant Urshifu. Pretty standard stuff here. I don't know why there's a Hisuian Braviary here. So that's something that I don't quite get, but he has it, and we're gonna just roll with it, okay? But those are just some of his ideas right away. Maybe this has Tailwind, or I don't know, but yeah. So I just want to kind of lead standard here. So he's gonna bring Thundurus, he's gonna bring Kyogre here. He's trying to enable it with the Rain Dance. So I'm gonna go Instant, I'm gonna go Raging Bolt here, right? So, you know, he has the option. I want to try and bait the Serena here, and let's see if he does do that. So I'm gonna make a mid-ground play here. So he goes Terra Grass here, so do I. Right? So I'm going to go Thunderclap here, right? Just to try and lure it. And I wasn't going for Trick Room. I wanted the Serena switch in. He does para me, but that's okay. Spout, we resist that because, again, we're Dragon and we're Grass. Glacial Lance, he didn't swap, so I don't catch the Serena, but we KO the Kyogre anyway because he went Grass to try and resist the Raging Bolt. So we had the pin anyway. There's the Serena, right? And you have to create pins in Regulation G a lot, and this is what we did. So now we're in their driver's seat because we have a restricted, he doesn't. Triple Axle is a very good move on Serena, and he almost picks up the KO here, right? And he landed all three, of course. But we do get up Trick Room, and now he's kind of stuck here. He goes into Instant here, obviously, but that's not bad because, again, we can still deal a lot of damage against Instant. So Glacial Lance comes out. That's decent chip, honestly. That's resisted, by the way. And here's Thunderbolt. That almost just kills it, right? So I just want to protect here against the Fake Out, ideally. He does try to Fake Out the Calyrex, of course. And there's the Triple Axle from Serena into the Raging Bolt, and he does KO the Raging Bolt. That's okay though, because now we get to bring in our Amoongus, right? And we have healing potential with Pollen Puff here, and this is a free KO into the instant. He can't switch anymore, and that's pretty much it, right? So, you know, Calyrex, again, just steamrolls here. It's over. There's nothing else he has. He just has a Sash Thundurus, and he has no choice but to forfeit there. But you saw how we were able to do this. We created that pin, right? With the electric and the ice move, right? Because I wanted to bait the Serena. He didn't do it, but his Kyogre was forced to go Terra Grass to survive the Raging Bolt, you know, Thunderbolt there, right? And by doing that, that makes you weak to ice, and then the Glacial Lance just picks up there. So you gotta learn how to make pins in Reg G, but just in general. But that's all. That's what we really wanted to do in that opening turn. All right, there's one of those weird ones. He's got the Smeargle. Oh, Smeargle teams. Yeah, we gotta talk about Smeargle later on, but yeah, he looks like some Perish variant, right? There's Arkeladin here, right? Arc is still okay in Regulation G. But yeah, so there's some Trick Room ideas with Gothitelle, I guess, but this is a strange team, and I'm not really that afraid of it. But again, just going Instant here, just to put pressure on the Gothitelle and just take advantage of the rain that he's going to probably provide. So here's a Smeargle here. And we get to intimidate the Calyrex because he is not Clear Amulet. So Smeargle just goes bye-bye, right, from Surging Strikes. Even if it was Sash, that doesn't matter here. And I just want to taunt this thing, right? Because he's not going to do damage with Glacial Lance here. And if he did try to set up, then it just denies. And again, he was going for Swords Dance there. So now he doesn't even have the speed advantage. And now he just gave me the rain. This Calyrex is absolutely cooked. He can't protect in front of the Earth. So even if he does switch out, something is taking a Surging Strikes in the rain. And I don't think there's anything left that he has there besides maybe the Arkeladin. But again, it's still like a good damage. And we still have a Calyrex of our own in the back. So we still had all the momentum here. And he just kind of just forfeit. So that wasn't that great. Okay, you have the niche combination here, you know, with Rayquaza, Chien-Pao, you know, where you can just boost your extreme speeds and just try and pick up some big KOs. This is probably Terra Normal, which is really good against the Shadow Rider. We featured a Rayquaza Terra Normal team on the channel back in Regulation G from a regional, so that was fun. But overall, like again, Instant, Rillaboom, and then Ferrigaf, Ursaluna. So Ferrigaf, Ursaluna is another very good combination in Regulation G. But I'm not afraid of this because his restricted is not that good. So I'm going to go with Instant Urshifu here. Again, there's Chien-Pao. Thank you for boosting my Urshifu damage. And yeah, and then it's Rayquaza here. So this is fine. We intimidate the Chien-Pao. He's -1. I just want to fake out the Rayquaza here and just go for Surging Strikes here. And again, we are adamant, and Chien-Pao just goes bye-bye. Thank you for boosting my damage, by the way, Chien-Pao. All right, and that's it. That was like one of his big threats. All right, Incin, we don't care about this. I'm just going to go Terra Ghost. That's not going to matter. He fakes out the other Incineroar. That's very weird. And there's the, you know, the sash being broken on the Incin, right? Rocky Helmet looking really good. Okay. And the Rayquaza, you know, doesn't have, again, he's going for Swords Dance. He wants the extreme speed damage. I know that. But, you know, we still have a Calyrex in the back here. And he Terra Normals that thing, which means, you know, he goes for the Incin. But look how much damage that did to himself. Now we just remove the Ursaluna. He actually lives here. So this is actually good EVs on the Ursaluna to survive the Adamant Surging Strikes. But now we're just kind of chilling, right? Hyper Voice comes out. This is okay. We outspeed everything technically. And he just kills himself because Life Orb is a thing, right? And he just forfeits, right? We left his restricted as the last Pokemon because we understand it's not a threat. I know this thing is Terra Normal. He wants to click Swords Dance and Extreme Speed, right? This is familiar territory from, you know, regulationG, you know, when it ended. So I wasn't afraid of that. I just had to get rid of the partners because I know in the end, one-on-one, my Calyrex will beat his Rayquaza, Terra Normal or not. Okay, so, you know, that was a thing there. But yeah, don't use Rayquaza. All right, there's another interesting Kyogre team. He's got Pelipper, Arceladon, Incineroar. That's pretty good. That's a good starting point. Then he's got Salamence, and he's got the Palmot there. I don't know why he has a Palmot on this team, but he's got a Palmot on this team. All right, so there it is, Palmot and Salamence. Okay, yeah, Salamence does have a niche, I would say, right? In the rain, Hurricane, Tailwind ideas. But yeah, other than that, I'm still going to try and do the same. So he's going Arceladon and Kyogre here, right? Very interesting. All right, Calyrex and Amoongus is going to be my idea here, just to try and create Spore Pressure and redirect things. So I'm going to go Terra Grass again on the Calyrex. He actually wants the Amoongus dead. Okay, that's interesting enough. He's going for the Electro Shot. He wanted into the Calyrex. I easily resist that. I was trying to resist the Flash Cannon, but we Spore that thing, so that's good for us. And there is the Trick Room. So now we threaten the Calyrex here. All right, we Spore the Kyogre. I said Calyrex. High Horsepower comes out. That's great damage, and that's really all I wanted. All right, he takes the turn of Sleep. So now I have this pin against his Arceladon if he wants to switch it out now. I'm just going to go Urshifu to take advantage of the rain here and resist stuff. He goes into Salamence. So Glacial Lance comes out. I knew he would try and switch that, you know, just in case to get the Flying Pivot into my ground move. He does wake up. He does click Ice Beam, does do a lot, but we have Bulk. He freezes me, unfortunately, but he put my Urshifu in the rain, so that's good. All right, he goes into Arceladon here. I'm just going to go into Raging Bolt here, right? So to put pressure on this Ogre. I'm still frozen, and he just unfortunately just removes me. So I do get the freeze hacks against me, but this is fine, right? He has a sleeping slot there. We have an Urshifu. I click Thunderbolt, and the Kyogre is gone, right? I just want to click Surging Strikes into this. And again, he's getting all these defense boosts, but it doesn't matter against the Urshifu, right? So that's that. And now all he has left is a silly little Palmot. Okay, and now he just punched that thing, right? And that's it. Nice Palmot. You see how stupid this Urshifu thing is, but yeah. All right, so for this second variant, we're going to switch up the build a little bit, and we're going to go with Life Orb Raging Bolt instead. And then we'll also go with a Sash Urshifu, okay? And then the Calyrex, it'll still be the same set, of course, but I also want to show you that you can also do this, where you can take away, you know, these bulk ideas here and still add into the Spadef here. So I'm just going to go Brave here. So this one, I will vary it up a little bit. I will go 0 speed here and then just dump the rest here into Spadef. And this will help you live the Astral Life Orb stuff. Okay, so just dump all the rest here into Spadef and you still have 116 here. I don't need any defense here because again, I don't have the coaching idea on this Urshifu. I just have a Sash set. But what I want to do here is actually have a faster special attack damaging engine of the team. How about Flutter Mane and Chi-Yu here? So they're going to come back in regulationG, and it makes sense also to put them on this team. And then at the same time, let's have the Ogerpon Cornerstone. This is an old 6 that was pretty good towards the end of the format, and I kind of want to pick up where it left off here. So we still have Trick Room here, and now we get a Redirector here in the Ogerpon, and Ogerpon can do a lot of damage into stuff like Incineroar, stuff like Chien-Pao. Okay, you still get grass damage out of the Ogerpon, but just taking advantage of Sturdy is really, really useful here. Okay, But other than that, you know, again, Ivy Cudgel, and then Power Whip, not Wood Hammer, because I don't want to lose my sturdy. So Power Whip is the better play here, and then Spiky Shield, okay, which is really good. And then of course Follow Me, right? The redirection, okay. Then after this, where do you go from here? So with Flutter Mane, I want to put Booster Energy on this because that's again, I switched out the Life Orb and put on Raging Bolt. I want the Flutter to have the booster, and I want this to be the timid natured Flutter Mane here. All right, and all I really need is I just want to put 76 investment here, right? And that is going to be enough to outspeed another Ogerpon. That is also max speed here, so I'm just going to go Jolly, for example, 178. So if I go 179/180, that'll outspeed. So let's speed creep and let's go to 181, right? And then after that, you know, I just want to put about 116 investment here and then just dump the rest here into defense, right? And all I'm doing is I'm just trying to survive the Chien-Pao stuff, okay? So if I go back here into the damage calculator, if I put Chien-Pao here, all right, and if I, yeah, let's just go standard Chien-Pao. And the idea is the Sucker Punch stuff, right? So here's Flutter Mane. All right, let's just go like a standard Flutter here with 252, 252. So you see how Sucker Punch just absolutely annihilates me. So I need some bulk here. So I just want to put 116, okay? And that's already like pretty good. But I want to also put some defense. So 252 is also like pretty good. That definitely lives the Sucker Punch, but it also lives a lot of things. Like it'll live Ice Spinner, but it'll also live the Icicle Crash. Okay, where are you? Icicle Crash. Yeah, so this is also like really useful in this sense, right? So like max Spadef here, max defense is really good. Then if I match this up into Urshifu, all right, you might say, is that really living the Urshifu, right? Yes, it does. So look at that. Surging Strikes, we actually do live with our max defense here, you know, the Jolly set here. So that's really good. Again, no attack modifier on this Urshifu whatsoever. So just keep that in mind. You have the Calyrex, all right, with the Glacial Land stuff, and you also live that too, right? So that's very useful in terms of like having some good physical bulk on your Flutter Mane here. And that's what I want to do. I want to have some bulk on this. I may adjust this later on when I make like a rental team or whatnot, but as a starting spread here, just having like max defense here, I think that was also like really good, all things considered. So I kept it like this, but the set here is going to be Dazzling Gleam and Moonblast, your two stab moves here. And then you don't really need that much Shadow Ball here. I want to go Icy Wind here and just have speed control. And this way the stuff like Chi-Yu and the Urshifu and the Raging Bull can outspeed. The Chi-Yu here, I will go with the Cobra Cloak. All right, I don't want to get faked out in all those shenanigans. But, you know, Snarl is really strong against the Shadow Rider. Heat Wave also does really well in the sun. Overheat for a single target move and then just simply protect over here. Terra Grass also is also really nice against the Urshifu Surging Strike stuff. This one you just go 252, 252 attack here. The Chi-Yu, I want to make this faster than the Urshifu Adamant stuff, right? So if you just go modest 252, this will already do that, right? You only need about this much here, right? But I want to go, you know, at this point, just go max, you know, just for like speed creep purposes. And then you could just put 4 points here, 4 points here, and just dump the rest here into HP. Flutter Mane, we've already shown. Raging Bolt here. So I still want to do the same calc, just re-optimize the spread for Life Orb damage. So I'm just going to go to not 224, but instead 229. You always want to end in that 9 when you end with the Life Orb here, just to, you know, take into account this 1/10 max HP. You break the threshold, you go to 230. All right, now you're taking more Life Orb chip. Let's undercut it by 1, right? Because again, if you do 229 divided by 10, that's 22.9, rounds down to 22. If you go to 23, right, that's 1 extra HP that you're taking, right? So let's undercut the threshold by 1, and let's put it there. And then you still have 280 EVs left. So I'm just going to put 1 point in speed. You can go 180 investment again, but since we have a Life Orb now, I don't think it's that important because we still have this even if we switch. So let's go about 100 here. Let's go about 124, right? Nice solid number, just in case we go for photosynthesis here. And we'll still have 124 to survive the Chien-Pao stuff, and that's all I need. And then just dump the rest here into special defense, right? These are just like extra leftover EVs at this point. So yeah, I'm satisfied with this Raging Bolt here. A little bit less attack than the other one, but I have the Life Orb compensation. So, you know, I still like where I'm at with this guy. All right, Urshifu is still pretty standard with the Adamant set, and this one has a little bit more Spadef than the other one, right? So look at this, a little bit stronger of a special attack mode, with these guys, and that's really good, right? Because sometimes you need these to give you speed control on both sides. So look at this, Icy Wind here, like we said. All right, and then the Chi-Yu has Snarl Pressure, and sometimes to an extent you can put Electro Web on this Raging Bolt here. So I wouldn't put it past a set here to try and do that if you want to go the Raging Bolt Electro Web, but I don't think it's necessary. I think Icy Wind is all you really need. If you want to put Thunder Wave, you can definitely put Thunder Wave on the Flutter Mane. I think that's also like okay, but as far as like this 6, I still like it. All right, so let's test it out. Let's see how it is. All right, so this guy has a Koraidon team, and you're always going to see stuff like this with Raging Bolt, Flutter Mane. That's always like an easy starting point, right? Those 3, and then you can add Chi-Yu, right, to make your special attack mode stronger, which is what we said. Then he's got Whimsicott and then Regidrago. This is pretty cool, actually. So Double Dragon, lots of hyper offense, but we can slow it down because we have Snarl Pressure, right? It's just the Whimsicott that we have to take into account. But that being said, I still want to lead my typical combination here. So he's going to go with Regidrago and Chi-Yu. That's okay. All right, I'm going to go with Raging Bolt and Flutter Mane on my own. So now I have pressure here. I have Icy Wind stuff. He goes into Whimsicott here. This is okay. I'm going to go Terra Electric Raging Bolt. D-Gleam is good chip damage into that thing, and then just Thunderbolt, right? I thought he would Terra Steel. He did not Terra Steel, right? So even though the Chi-Yu does click Snarl here, which is very devastating, of course, it's not the end of the world here because, you know, I still have speed control advantage, and I have things in the back that can outspeed the Koraidon. So he goes Terrified. That's okay. I don't mind that. I just need the speed advantage here, and I do have it now. He Flare Blitzes the Flutter Mane. That's okay, right? And he does damage to himself. And we click Thunderbolt on the Chi-Yu, so a little bit more damage there. And he goes for Heat Wave, and it takes me out. That's okay, right? Because look, everything is in range now. Guess who we bring in? The Calyrex and the Ogerpon. Now we have the pressure because the Ogerpons are Rock type, okay? So I just want to protect Calyrex first, all right? Ivy comes with the Chi-Yu, get rid of that thing, all right? Even if he hits the Ogerpon, it's okay because I have a Sturdy, right? But he went for the Calyrex anyway. And now here comes Regidrago. It's over. Just take out the Koraidon. Even if he protects, same thing. Calyrex just wins because we get to click Glacial Lance. He already committed the Terra. So the Regidrago can't save himself. And now that's it. So because he Terra'd the Koraidon, he can't Terra the Regidrago. So we had the pin and we were able to win. All right, one more. This one's a weird Kyogre team. He's got Basculegion, which is pretty good, and Tornadus. You're probably going to see a lot of that too. And you might even see Arkeladon on teams like this, but he's got Smeargle and he's got Screamtail. So interesting choices there. Not choices that I would necessarily agree with, but again, he made those choices. So I'm going to go Raging Bolt Chi-Yu here. So I want to create pressure with Snarl and, you know, Raging Bolt just being good, solid damage into the Kyogre. He has no Serena, so he can't deny that. I just want to click Snarl, okay? Take out the Sneargles here, all right? But he does click Spore. I thought he would do it into the Chi-Yu slot, so I guessed wrong there. But this is fine because we get to neuter the Kyogre with Snarl, okay? And my Raging Bolt actually just wakes up. So goodbye, Kyogre. Thunderclap is really good, and he's a slow Ogre, right? And he decorates the Ogre, but guess what? I just click Snarl, and there it is. So I always think Kyogre should be timid here, but, you know, he didn't, and now he just lost it. I thought he would click Ice Beam, but, you know, he didn't. So he just lost his restricted turn 1, and that's the threat. See, if you're slower than Modest Chi-Yu, that's a problem. I always think Kyogre's got to be a little bit faster, or at least have a little bit more bulk than that. All right, so a third build here that I want to showcase is almost like a little bit of a fusion with the other two here. You still have the Flutter Mane Chi-Yu combination here, so the Flutterfish still comes. I still like Amoongus with Calyrex. You know, I still want some redirection support to try and set up the Trick Room here. But I also still, you know, very much enjoy Raging Bolt here with these guys. Pretty good matchup into Kyogre amongst all other things. A nice bring into the Koraidon matchup as well, along with these other 3. Then just the Urshifu altogether, you know, just pretty good into the Shadow Rider. Also against the Ice Rider as well. You can punch Ferrograph if they don't want to Terrasalize. But all in all, I think this build is also like very, very solid and strong altogether. But now some of the options change. So I'm going with the Salt Vest on the Raging Bolt on this build here, along with Electro Web. So a little bit of speed control, along with Icy Wind still on the Flutter Mane here. So 2 forms of the fast mode speed control with Icy Wind and the Electro Web here. And then the Chi-Yu is still like the same stuff with Overheat, Heat Wave, and Snarl. But the Urshifu is a Sash set here. The Amoongus, I'm going to show you a set in a second. But the Calyrex, so In terms of the EV spread here, so I've shown you 2 spreads already, but how about we do a little bit different here? Let's still go Adamant rather than Brave, and I'll still go like max HP here, but instead of 116 Adamant, let's go to the next bump here in 196 investment, right? So this way, another 80 EVs puts it to the 3rd benchmark here. And then after this, you can even put a little bit more speed on this couch. You could put about 52 more speed here just for like potential mirror matchups. You know, just outspeeding another Calyrex Shadow Rider outside of the Trick Room, so you can also do that. And this will help you get a little bit of leverage into like another Iron Hands per se, if depending on their speed investment. So you can always just check them if you want to, you know, peep that a little bit, especially with you having high horsepower over there. So some speed on the Calyrex is not bad either in this case. The Amoongus here, so I'm going to give you a little bit of a different spread here. So I still like my old school Amoongus set with the 236 HP to optimize the regenerator recovery, but also 236 defense, right? And this is enough to survive the Chien-Pao / the Ice Rider ice type attacks here. So I still like this investment. I still think it's very much worth it. And then the Urshifu obviously is just an Adamant 252/252 set here. And the Flutter Mane, I kept the spread the same. Same with the Chi-Yu. Now the Raging Bolt, because of this Assault Vest set, I still want to, you know, survive Chien-Pao Calyrex attacks, but still do like decent amount of damage. So I'm still gonna put 4 points in speed, you know, just because I want it to be also strong in Trick Room, but also 1 point in Spadef, just to keep that even number here. And I still want to have that benchmark here, so I'm still gonna go, instead of 100 here, I'm still gonna put 180. All right, so 198, because, you know, I don't have the booster anymore. I don't have Life Orb per se, so I still need a little bit more investment into my special attack. And then I'll still go to about 188 investment here. Again, just putting it at 224 HP to optimize, you know, for the Rillaboom terrain recovery. And then 132 defense. This will give me the roll into the Chien-Pao move. So if I just do 188 and 132 investments, you can see right here, I have the Ice Spinner calc, and then I have the 6.3 roll against the Icicle Crash. And again, this is an Adamant Chien-Pao for that matter. So if you just want to calc for Jolly, then you can also just take away the Adamant calc and just go Jolly here. And then just take away some investment, and then just add a little bit more into your special defense there, and then that'll also suffice, right? So you have to test it first, see what kind of sets Chien-Paos are running. Are you seeing more Adamants? Are you seeing more Jolly? But at least I'm calcing for the hardest hitting Chien-Pao. So this will be the 3rd team build, right, with the Ice Rider. So still have the Amoongus, but a little bit more special attack damage, a little bit faster of a build, and then you still have the Urshifu here with the Dark type Terra here, you know, just doing so much more damage. All right, so let's summarize and let's put all 3 teams on the screen, so this way you can see the builds that we made. All right, so this is the first variant that we built for you a little bit earlier in the video. This is relying on the Instant Amoongus defensive backbone, and you still have weather control and offense coming from the Pelipper and the Urshifu Rapid Strike here. Again, Coaching Urshifu, very good, you know, with your Calyrex Ice Rider to help you steamroll and get your boost going early. This is why you don't need as much attack investment as our 3rd build, where we went Adamant 96, because that one does not have the benefit of going with the Urshifu Coaching. So, you know, we can take a little bit off and then just add a little bit more into your bulk. So again, you can survive the Shadow Rider Astral Barrage stuff. The Amoongus here, a little bit more investment into the special defense, like we said, just hitting the bumps there. If you prefer the Amoongus here, you know, just surviving the ice attacks, you can definitely, you know, plug that in instead of the sassy build. But I just wanted to show you a different build that you can consider. But this also makes sense here. Rocky Helmet Amoongus on this end, right, is really solid. Again, at breaking Sash from Sacred Sword Chien-Pao, you know, Focus Sash Urshifu, you can break Sash that way and then just, you know, hit him back for a little bit more damage with the Rocky Helmet. And then the Raging Bolt set here, again, just meant to survive the Calyrex and the Chien-Pao ice attacks here. You know, you're still hitting the bump here with the special attack, and then just 1 point each in the special defense and the speed. And that's the same investment that we have here with this Raging Bolt, right? So you can go with this type of a build, or you can go this idea where instead of the Instant Amoongus idea, you have Chi-Yu, Flutter Mane, and Raging Bolt here. You know, just for a little bit more of a faster mode, a little bit more special attack presence on the team. But again, Flutter Mane Chi-Yu, again, one of the more popular combinations that you're going to be seeing again back in Regulation G. And then the Rapid Strike is still like pretty good altogether. You can go Terra Poison on this Calyrex. I think this is also like a solid Terra that you can also consider. Otherwise, if you still like Grass or Water, you can definitely still go Grass or Water. I like Ogerpon Cornerstone in regulationG also, depending on how you want to build it. But you know, this fits in relatively well just because you have redirection support. You don't have your Amoongus anymore, but you can still do a lot here with Sturdy. And the rock, you know, attacks are like very, very strong against something like a Tornadus for that matter. But I like Ogerpon Cornerstone too. And then the third build still uses the Flutter Mane Chi-Yu and Raging Bolt idea, but we still keep the Amoongus here. And now we go with the Dark Urshifu rather than the Rapid Strike, which still works all in all. And again, I still like Grass Terra, just like the first build. I still like the Grass Terra, but this one has a little bit more speed. Whereas, you know, again, you also have a little bit more attack investment because there's no coaching on this Urshifu. It's a Sash Urshifu set, whereas the first one was a Scarf Urshifu idea. But this also works all together. And you have Electro Web on your Raging Bolt this time to go along with your Icy Wind on the Flutter Mane here. By the way, don't forget Terra Normal. That's pretty good against the Astral Barrage on the Calyrex, you know, because you can't get hit by it. So you walled that out completely. Rocky Helmet Amoongus versus, you know, Mental Herb. To each their own. You can even just do something else there, like Covert Cloak too. But I like Mental Herb and Rocky Helmet on my Amoongus in regulationG as of right now. Because I do like Goggles on the Chi-Yu here. This one has the Covert Cloak. But if you like Goggles Chi-Yu, this also works relatively well. Just to, again, get around redirection, get around the Amoongus. I still think it works relatively well. And then that also means you don't have to go Grass to get around the Amoongus. If you're going to go Goggles, you can also go Terra Water to resist the Surging Strikes from another Urshifu. All right, so 3 builds here. So hopefully you try them out, and hopefully you like something, you know, as far as like the Ice Rider. But these are like good starting points to the format, just in case you need some direction, you know, in terms of your building, right? And if you want to build something else and you need a little bit of help, make sure you sign up for coaching on the channel. Tier 3 sub gets you a one-on-one team building session with me via Discord call, where we get to sit down like this. We get to hash out the EV spreads, and we get to look at different matchups. We get to try it out a little bit in some battles if you want to do that. That's more tier 4, but tier 3 at least gets you the building session with me, okay? If you look in the video description below, there is a link to join the channel with that tier 3 sub. Or if you look in the comment section, there is a pinned comment that you can click the same link and join the channel with that tier 3 sub, okay? But yeah, sign up, join the Discord, and then you can message me on Discord, and then we can coordinate from there. All right, but that's it. We'll be back with another video in the next one, guys. Peace out, and have a good one.